The last two finished have all hit 0.9 AC, so under 1 ACH50. I know Steve will use this example, like when he has builders say, "Oh, my guys can't do that," and he's like, "I don't know, Matt's kids do it all the time."
Welcome to the Flow Lab, the podcast where we dive deep into the science of building performance and HVAC innovations. Today we bring you another insightful episode aimed to enhance your knowledge and expertise in the field. Joining us are your co-hosts, Ben Walker, co-CEO of Retrotec, and Sam Myers, a renowned building science specialist and Retrotec trainer. Together, they bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to ensure our discussions are both informative and engaging. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to enter the Flow Lab, where we'll explore the world of building performance. Let's get started.
Thanks for hopping on with us, Matt. I was actually talking with Charlotte about the wing nut challenge that we're doing with them, and it just kind of dawned on me, like, yeah, we really need to bring Matt on to talk about what he's doing. You know, you've been working with your classes over the years. You're actually building houses in the class, and not just building them the code, just actually doing them right. So, how did you first kind of get into that, as far as like teaching high school kids to where you're actually building real houses? Like, how did that first begin?
So I got in teaching by accident. I was working construction after college because that's what I kind of did anyway in the summers. I like carpentry. And then after I graduated, I asked my boss if I could work for him while I found a real job, and kept on working. And then he was battling cancer. And then when he passed away, me and a buddy took over the business, kept on going. And after battling through the recession and stuff, we both kind of like getting burnt out on it, and he had an opportunity, something more stable, as he had another child come in, and then who may be the one that's in my class right now, actually.
Wow.
And then
full circle moment there.
Yeah, total full circle. Yeah. Now I'm old enough now that I have all my friends' kids in class. That's that's the age we're at right now. But I was like, you know what? I was kind of getting burnt out, and I had just gotten with my what is now wife, and she was doing some PRN nursing at the prison here locally, and she's like, you know, the carpenter teacher is probably going to retire in a few years. You know, you should try looking at that if you want to get out of that, you know, physical lifestyle and everything. I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. You know, I mean, I kind of thought about high school or teaching high school back in the day. Actually, my shirt says it perfect.
Yeah, I was wondering what. The
only fun class to teach is shop.
Yep.
PE.
MPE. That's
my
great.
brother happens to be a PE teacher as well. So
nice.
I almost wore the Mark Willie one today too, but yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's a solid one for sure.
So she literally made that comment like 2 weeks later. There was a post in the paper about an opening, and so I ended up getting that, started teaching for Lakeland College at the prison here in Taylorville, and did their construction occupation certificate for that program. And then the teacher that taught this program was moving on to our a local area career center to be principal there. And the principal, who was my athletic director when I was in high school, called up asking if I want to switch over. And so I actually, amazingly enough, got a raise, which is crazy to think in education. But there was some more money and more time off. And with all the kids and stuff, the schedule worked out really nice. So here we are. And then, so that was in 2017 when I started. 2019, we brought back the house building program, which we've had since 1969.
Oh,
and wow. I was like, all right, well, I know there's better ways to build, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what we did. And I got very fortunate to meet two gentlemen that you might know by Steve Basic and Jake Bruton, who were like, whatever you need, we'll help you, we'll teach you. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, what like when a student first starts the class, what do they kind of get to experience? What's like the first this is the first part of the school year now, right? So.
Yeah, sure. So it's different depending on when you come in on the stage of the house. It takes us about 2 school years to build an entire house. This one's taking us a little bit longer, but but every year we kind of start a little bit later in the fall, just from the previous one, right? But you take a prerequisite class who was taught by one of my former students who graduated in 2020. He was in the first group to bring back the house building program and now teaches for us. So he teaches a prereq class. And then you can get in as a sophomore, but usually juniors and seniors get in because it's 3 class periods and you just got to have enough time in your schedule to have 3 open class periods. So the students right now are starting on the very tail end of this house. So it's a lot of tasks right now. We got to we had to tie up a little bit of loose ends of plumbing and electrical in the kitchen and bathrooms. Then we had to hang drywall in those. The rest of the house is drywall ready for primer and ready to go. But those 3 rooms we were working on, and when the weather got nice last spring, and bailed and went and finished up the outside. Outside is pretty much done. We just got we trimmed out. We had to put a couple pieces of roof trim on our metal roof here while the weather was nice. Like I said, inside they're putting up literally the last couple pieces in one bathroom that we have left. They've been coating drywall mud last couple weeks, mud and tape, and we'll should have that probably finished up around the end of the week. So probably somewhere by next week, we're priming the whole house, texturing the ceiling, getting things ready for, and paint and ceiling. And then what we'll do is we'll peel off here sometime in October, and we're literally go over 2 blocks from where I'm sitting right now. And we're going to get the foundation put in the next house, come back, cabinets, flooring, trim, doors, finishing touches, all that stuff during this winter, as we transition into winter, so we don't have to worry about weather. And then if we finish up the house, let's say it's semester, we'll go over to the high school. We got a machine shed at the end of our football field that has a lot of space in it. We'll prefab the walls there. Cool. One day it'll be like 80 in February in the Midwest, and we'll just throw up walls.
One day, yeah.
And then we'll ride out the spring working on the new house. So that's the plan. We'll see how that goes.
Cool.
That's awesome.
So you could come in either brand new house from the foundation, or you could come in finishing touches, starting a new house. So it just depends on where you hit on the house build.
No, that's awesome. Is it like always the same design and stuff, or is it each one different? Or
Yep. I've done 3 now. This is the 29th house in the history of the program. The first one, me and my wife designed together. I had asked Steve about doing it, but by the time we finally connected, way too late in the game. But Steve generously gave us plans that he had already had in his, Polaretha of plan sets and stuff that worked out perfect. He had helped design like whole kind of little community and so one of those house plans, he gave us the whole set, let us pick from one, worked out perfect. And then this one is a house designed by Emily Mottram, who she already out in Maine, so she already had plans set for those. She just sent them over. And then the next one, Josh Salinger out in Oregon sent us the ones for the next one. So all of them have been different. It's been very nice for those generous friends of ours to pass those plans over. And
it's always fun watching people in this industry kind of get together and contribute. So it's always a good little community to work within.
Oh yeah, it's been great. Yeah. Being Retrotec and stuff, our first time on the build show, because Jake Bruton's only 3 hours from us in Columbia, Missouri, so he came over and did a whole episode with the blower door with the students, and
awesome.
So yeah, we've had a blower door from day one, and it's been awesome.
So how does this usually work? I mean, does the school just acquire a piece of property and you guys build it and sell it?
Yep.
That's really cool. I mean, my high school never did anything like that. I've never heard of this happening anywhere else. So
yeah, so this used to be a big deal.
The school's been doing this from the late '60s.
Oh yeah, well, we found a picture, old picture from 1898 or something, and it said building. Was it construction class or something? Taylorville Township High School. So, but around here, like when I was in high school in the '90s, all the shop programs had pretty much got wiped out, but there was still house building programs kind of all around. I think Lincoln, just up the road from us, I think they're still doing house building. They're actually trying to revamp, and they came down and was kind of seeing what we're doing because they want to kind of go that direction as well.
Cool.
I know a handful of others throughout the country have started popping up, either building with Habitat for Humanity, because the nice thing is all the costs now goes to somebody else. They just provide labor force and everything. And then I know Frank over in New Jersey, they build them right there in the parking lot, 2 halves. The house right there in the parking lot and gets taken and set on the foundation. And then we got Scott down in Kansas City, Missouri, that Travis and Joe Catalyst built. They work with all the time. They're building an Emily Mottram house, getting ready to start one, but they've had that program for a while. I think ours is still kind of unique in the fact that we literally the students get to do everything. Like I think this year with Scott's new build, I think they'll take on more, but some of these that are on site a lot of times have a lot more subs involved. Not that students don't do anything, but like we are for us, we do 98% of it. The only thing we didn't do was the flat work for the concrete driveway, garage floor, and porch cap. Everything else. Oh, and dig in the sewer line. We didn't do that either.
Yeah, so like, how do you ensure quality? Is like the subs are still responsible for the quality of their portion of the work, or just
this guy?
It's all on you.
Try to get a bunch of high school kids to care.
Yeah.
That's my role.
Job.
I will never say we're better craftsmen than anybody kind of like locally. I'm sure we probably are better than some, no doubt. But yeah, but pretty much the only difference between us and any other builder is just they're going to be done in months. We're going to be done in 2 years. It's just, with drywall finishing, Lydia Crowder, drywall shorty, she can come in, she'll knock out a house in a few days or something, right, for what we're doing, who she's also been awesome for helping us and stuff too, by the way. But for us, it takes us, we're working on 3 rooms. We're going to work on those things for 2 solid weeks of work time on those, where she's done in a few days, like a day or two. Like that's the difference. At the end, the quality is pretty much the same. It's just it takes us longer to get here, and we all know, a good craftsman is you can be good no matter what. It's just the best do it faster.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you've ever spent any time on a Habitat job site, I mean, they're usually building to above code standards, and they're built by volunteers. And back when I was a HERS rater doing blower door tests and duct leakage tests on Habitat houses, they were always better than in your traditional code built houses. So they were always just a better product in the end. Yeah. So as long as you have good guidance and someone teaching you and showing you what to do, I mean, it makes sense.
And like you said, Sam, it usually comes out better. And the thing is, with Habitat and for us, a business needs to get a house done to get paid to make profit to stay in business. This is just class.
Yeah.
That's the project we're doing in class, right? Like it's 100% the house, but that's the class. So if it takes us 1 year or 5 years, other than a little bit of money on our property taxes or energy bills that we cover, holding the property, which I think we even probably get discounted on it. I don't know if the city charges them real estate tax on this or not. Well, we have it, not sure, but either way, it's so minimal. Like for us, the cost, it doesn't matter if it takes us 2 or 3 years, right? Take the time, get it done right. Let everybody learn that, like tell the kids, that's why it's called school. Like there's walls we have here, and this house has been built 3 times. Like nobody knows it's been built that many times. It looks great. It's 24 inches on center. They're nice, straight, secure. But in order to get that window in the right place, they had to tear it apart a couple times.
Yeah.
Now, a business, that may not be the best business model, but for us, it works perfectly fine.
Yeah. What's like the size of the classes? Like how many students are on the job site? So
in the morning we have 14. In the afternoon we have 13. We max it out at 15. That's a lot of students on a job site. When they asked me, I said I wanted 9. They said, how about 15? I said, well, why'd you ask? And I wanted 9 because then you can do 3 groups of 3 and it works out really well. But you're kind of your sweet spots around that 12 spot, but like I said, 15, when you're the finishing side of things, the more students, the harder it is because not everybody can do something. When we're doing foundation and framing and all that, man, you got kids just going everywhere, and it goes up. It actually gets going pretty quick, and then it's just a matter of making sure it's done right.
Yeah.
So your students that come in, is it usually their first time ever working with tools? Do you have some that are already experienced, or is it kind of a mix?
It's a mix. Well, first they've had to take a class, intro to industry. So they've had to have tools in their hands. They've had to use tape measures. They've done something, right? It's more of it's a shop setting, of course, more like a wood shop setting, but they have some base knowledge, but probably no life experience on job sites. Now this class, this is probably the most experienced I've had. We got some more kids come from the farm, which always has a little bit more experience, just being, handy and stuff, and comfortable around tools. But
handy by necessity.
Yeah. So that always works out good. And then, we have people who never seen the inside of a framed house, and they've only seen a finished house, to kids who've had to help their dads or grandpas and stuff, or whatever, or uncles. So it's always a mixture. And of course, they've never, like in this class, you get to try everything from foundation to trim. So some people are like, oh, I want to be electrician. Well, they start doing that, and like, that wasn't that fun, but they really like the framing side or something. So it's like I tell everyone, if you hire my kids, they can't build you your house, but they'll have the base knowledge, especially. And then obviously we throw in the high performance side of stuff, so they have that knowledge. But as far as skill set, it's really a lot of just exposure, right? They get to try everything. Like they get to find out if they like or don't like. It's doing plumbing is great when it's new construction, but maybe it may not be so fun. Like when we actually tap into the sewer and that first sewer smell comes through. You realize
you don't forget it.
And so it's one of those things where you get the real take on it, but it is still just a dab of kind of what it is. But one of my students from last year, his brother's in it this year. He just stopped by. He's in between jobs for the electrical union, and he's doing great. Loves it. Just want to kind of see what's going on.
And I love that they're getting a head start on the high performance side, because I've talked with so many contractors that have just kind of struggled and flailed around for a bit, and just having all these callbacks. And then all of a sudden they came across, the Build Show or HVAC School or something on social media. It's like, oh, wait, they're doing it different. What's that? And then all of a sudden they go down the rabbit hole of building science. So just to kind of have that off the start is awesome. It's just a good head start that you'll have on.
Yeah. Well, and I was just at the KC Beer Symposium this last week. And I don't think I've missed a single Kansas City one since it's only 5 hours away. And from the first one we ever had was kind of the core group of people that we've all got connected with on Instagram to now. There was so many people I'd never met, heard of. I mean, you had people who they were property owners, like rental property owners. And he really liked pretty much protecting his investments and building things better and doing things right, so he's not repairing his properties over and over and siding and everything. And we got those kind of people at those events now and stuff. So it's the word's definitely getting out. It's a big change from 5 years ago.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see social media get put to a positive use. People are learning things, making the world a better place.
Oh, so. It's been social media's been very great to us, generous, and not only in the learning side but connection side, the networking side. It's, teachers now, especially a lot of shop teachers, are really diving in, which is great because, like I said, something needs to get cut. We're the first ones to go because we're expensive, and nobody says the governments don't think they need us. So,
yeah. Well, I think some of my favorite videos that you've posted is using the blower door at Rough End, and then using the fog machine to see where the leaks are, and just watching the students watching that light bulb go off. And here's one over here. Here's another one over here. Those are always a lot of fun to watch. Yeah,
especially when they can find something for that first initial one where you can actually find something that makes a difference and make the score drop. And in real time, right? Oh my gosh, around this window we just made that caulk well enough or whatever it was. And they go seal it. Or we leave a vent pipe opened up into the attic, totally forget about it. So you have 1.5 inch, 2-inch pipe just feeding, and then all of a sudden we figure it out, and then we go and tape it off, and then so it gets gamified real fast, and they like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So it becomes that always
scavenger
becomes
hunt.
fun.
Yeah, before you joined us, Sam was saying that you get pretty good results there too, really, with the blower door test on all your builds, really.
The last two finished have all hit 0.9 AC, so under 1 ACH50. Now, granted, we started off as low as 0.4, but that's when it's just a green box of zip, no one door cut out.
Yeah.
It should be very good. But that's the thing, since we own our own, Retrotec blower door, like we literally just leave it in the shroud at certain times, and it just sits next to the door, and we'll go install windows in, whatever, come over, throw the blower door in, see if anything changed, see if the windows are like, so, I mean, we truly use it as a tool. We're not going for any special certification or anything. So for us, it's, we own it, we have it, use it as many times as we can. The kids get good at popping it in, popping it out. And heck, we even had some fun and just to check to see how well we taped off our, crawl space wrap downstairs or in the crawl space. We took it and hooked up to the fan and just made like a shroud out insulation board and a port, and we blew into what will be the radon tube, but it goes down into the drainage lines, and so it filled up inside all the drainage rock and everything plastic, and we blew that thing up underneath like a bouncy house, and we found any leaks or cuts in the plastic, taped them up, and Stego had fun. They help us out too. So Stego was like, cool. Send us those videos. We want to see that. So that was just a fun little thing. Cause I mean, you're just, all the idea is it doesn't even matter what, like I told the kids, I go, it doesn't matter what that number says on this one. All we care is that we're putting pressure in, and either the air is staying in there or it's not. And if it isn't, we got to find
where that membrane's doing its job.
Yeah. And we put like the fogger behind the fan. So it blew in. So it was fogging at the same time. So like fog would come popping up out of the plastic. And so that was fun.
So do you guys use zip on your exterior walls on each project?
Yeah. Huber's been really great with us, and it's easy for us to get. And, it's kind of a no brainer for us when it comes to wall sheeting on that. Kind of tackles a lot of things right away.
I mean, for an air barrier material, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's just quick and easy to put together. What about other leakage points, like maybe your wall to floor and things like that, or your wall to your foundation?
Yeah.
What are you using to seal there?
So we kind of go with the basic and Bruton method of the seal and caulking. Usually it's Sashko is another one that's really helps us out. So, like throwing down Lexol or something underneath there. We've used a couple other things that when we first started that worked great. So we use that detail a lot. We've used Sega's Fentrum tape down there from foundation to wall. We've used the drywall as our air barrier on the ceiling this year. We worked with Sega, and we put up Sega Myrex on the side of the entire house. So that's our ceiling and walls. Nice. Even though we did use zip on the outside. So we moved it inside this time, just, doing something different. Each time we do something different. But yeah, foundation to walls is the seal and caulking. And then something else that we'll also put on there, whether it's a Fentrum tape or this time we had a liquid applied because we used the Perfect Block foundation. So we had to coat that, and we just went ahead and oversprayed that joint as well. So it kind of got, like belt and suspenders. Ceiling, this time since it's Myrex just turned, but like I said, we've done the drywall that goes out and ties into the zip, like Steve and Jake and them have done before. We've done that twice now. And then the next one we'll probably do the Sega on the ceiling with pushing out to the zip. Kind of seems to be kind of that sweet spot around here as far as what's, all those companies are great at helping us out, but doing something that's a little more in our area this time, we're going to probably go that route. And like I said, the kids do well. Like I said, it's not like we tell everyone, and our designs aren't complicated on the houses. We're staying pretty rectangular and stuff. So nothing too crazy on any crazy details for air sealing. So that pushing that out to the zip usually works out really well for us.
Has there ever been a time where like the students taught you something on the build, like the
Oh, I'm sure they always figure out. Usually, they figure out some quirky way of doing something. I'm trying to think, and I know somebody said something not that long ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's a really good idea." They usually they find a way to use something that's not intended to use it for it, but it works. It's usually one of those because for them, it's kind of funny to think. I don't know if they're being lazy or efficient, but then they figure out right, which is probably how everything gets invented, right? Out of necessity and laziness. But oh yeah, they'll come up with stuff, which is good. That's always the fun things because I don't always, it's one of those things where a lot of times, and we know in construction, like I have my best way of doing it, but like Ben and Sam, you guys may do it this way and faster. But if I did it your way, it's slower. It's just, we all, different parts of the country, different parts of heck, even within the states, I mean, your own state, run into builders that do things differently. So I always tell I kind of teach them what we kind of do more normally around here and terminology and things like that. But I'm like, if you find a better way or a way you like better, it makes more sense in your brain until you figure it out, do it that way. Because right now, like I said, it's the whole go slow to be fast, right? Like if you get it right the first time, well, sure, maybe it took longer than another person, but we're not doing it twice. So that's always a good thing. So.
And if they're coming up with other ways to do things, that likely means they're thinking about it outside of class and outside of school. They're falling in love with it. That's a good sign.
Yeah, putting some thought into it. Exactly. Like laying in bed, when we wake up in the middle of the night, like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep the rest of the night, right? I doubt they do that, but it is.
They will.
Yeah, it is good to.
That comes later.
or if they ask a question, be like, well, how are we going to do, if we do this, how are we going to do that? I'm like, that's even better because now you just thought ahead. So, those are those feel good moments as a teacher when you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. And then they'll do something crazy and you're like, oh my gosh. But that's high schoolers.
That must be awesome for them, like afterwards, like, after the build, after they're out of high school and everything, to drive back and see that house and see the work that they put into it and everything must be kind of cool, really. Like,
I worked on that.
They're always quick to come back and take a look, see how things are going. Because especially the ones that start caring a lot, because then they don't want the next group to mess something up, or
that's awesome.
Or like I said, when you leave, you graduate, and we're in the middle, and when you left the house, it's just a shell, more or less, right? And then they come back and see what it gets to look like finished, because they had, other than the outside, they may seem finished. So yeah, the people always return it. And like I said, this program's been here since 1969. So I think everybody in our town, except one or two of the business owners, at least, of any trades company here locally, all went through this program sometime.
You know what like inspired it back then? Like what kind of launched it?
Well, we're very blue collar. Like for us, this isn't like a big thing to do. Like, some people are like, oh my gosh, that would, but we have a huge FFA program. We're a rural town in Illinois of 10,000. So having this program, and back in the day, everybody had shop. Like I had shop in 7th grade. And that was the last year, and then they wiped it out. I graduated in 99. So there's my age. And then, but back then it was common to have things like this. And then, like I said, the mid 90s is when they wiped everything out and, all track for college. And so, and the house building program just stuck around. It was there when I was in high school. I didn't take it because back then, like I liked building and tinkering around and stuff. My dad taught me woodworking, but I just never thought of it as a career. I just liked it kind of as a hobby and just kind of fell into it and enjoyed it. And just, I guess, have a knack for teaching, or God gave me patience, really. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a good teacher, just a patient one, I suppose.
So on the high performance side of things, like when you're talking about why a good air barrier is important, why we test for things, do you kind of talk about that as you go, or is that part of the prerequisite class to kind of establish a baseline of it? Or how do you usually approach that?
Tom, that's a good question. Thomas, who's the former student teacher, he does kind of introduce that stuff. I grant it now in a class setting, you can do things, but for the most part, it's kind of more of a talk, demonstration, show. You don't get to see a lot of demonstration. Now, when he does like mock-up of window installs and things like that, obviously they're talking about those details. And even when I'm working with the students, like when we're putting in the foundation, or we start talking about things, I'm like, I know right now this may not make sense, but this is going to be important because here, when we put the caulking down and then put the seal into it and put another row of caulking in, they understand. They're like, okay, we get it's house, it's for air sealing, but they don't get it until, really, they don't understand. I don't think they really get that until the fog is in the house and the blower's running. Like when you can go out and you see a little thing of smoke kind of trickling out somewhere, then it's like, oh, okay, so it gets explained and talked about the whole process and why we do this, why it's important. But I even tell them, I'm like, you may not even realize. You may not even be able to visualize truly what this is doing for another few months. So
yeah,
it always gets talked about, it gets explained, but is their first intro to it. Now, the nice thing is my students, when they leave here, they don't know how to build any other way. So unfortunately, if they get hired, they probably won't start off building that way, but
I'm sure it'll stick with them though. Like, oh, we did that for a reason.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense now. So sometimes maybe that the bell will ring later.
Yeah. And I always tell them, I said, you can make suggestions to your new boss, be like, but don't be like, don't kind of be like arrogant about it. Don't be like, well, we did. Be like, hey, like when we were in high school, we did this because, stopped air leakage or something, like, so don't just be like, well, you should be doing this because Mr. Blomquist said so. Like, don't say that.
Yeah. That whole program is so cool. Like ever since I first heard about it, like what you guys are doing over there, I think it's great. And I'm glad other schools are starting to take note and doing something similar. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because, we're about to have a shortage. That's for sure. We're going to need more younger people getting into this if we're going to keep it going. Yeah.
Well, we've been trying to get more of the house programs going again. That's kind of been a push, every time I talk to people, and then, anybody is doing, I always encourage to kind of dive into this. Now, the good thing is it's already on the radar if they found me anyway. And with Ricing and the Build Show and all that, there's a lot of it. It's so much more mainstream now, which is nice. And then I just have to reinsure them. They're like, oh my God, it just seems like a whole lot to learn. I'm like, at first it feels like that, but then once you start it, it's kind of really simple. It's a lot of it's caulking and tape, which you're doing half of it anyway. Just do a little bit more in some special spots, plus a couple other things, and you got 80% of it out of the way.
And if it's integrated into the plans, then it's predetermined. It's part of the design. So it's just like installing anything else.
Yeah, like with Scott building Emily's house, like those details are already going to be there. So if you just follow the plans without any other knowledge of just, hey, there's a bead of caulk, we have to run it, make sure it's continuous. Then just by following the directions, you've already taken care of a lot. So there's a lot of that. Plus, of course, now, we got to get other architects and designers on board as well, too. So that way the construction guys just have to follow the plans. But it's starting to see a turn, especially in the Midwest. We're always last on everything, fashion, style, building better. It's we're just comfy here. We just go with it.
What's the best blower door number you guys have cranked out?
For final, it was like just over 0.9, like 0.91. It couldn't get to the underneath the 9, both directions, pressure, depressurization.
Oh, wow.
So the lowest we've ever had was at 0.4, and Travis was posting some they were doing. Now he had windows in, but he was like at a 0.8 or 6, and we're at 0.4, so we're messaging back and forth, like through Instagram, like putting it on stories, like this little challenge. And so the kids and then the kids really got into it, but
once it's a competition, you're like, oh, they can't beat us.
Yeah. So we've usually by the time, once we start poking the plumbing holes and electricals, like that's where it gets tough because they're such a harder thing to detail, which thanks to things like gaskets and stuff, that's getting easier. And I think we're going to implement that more. Rather than just trying to get good tape on it. But still, and for me, it always gets a little frustrating because it's like each house is a point. It's a 1, right? It's a 1. It's a 0.9. I'm like, man, we should be getting better. But then I have to remember everybody that just did this is brand new. That's their first house. Like it's only my second house or third house. It's not, and I'm not even the one doing the work. So
It's still a great result. So.
Oh yeah. On a
Much
15,
better than most of what else is being built out there for sure.
Yeah. So, and then we talk about when we're putting the windows in. Why did we choose these windows? Why sealing up tighter, and why are we using tilt and turns or casements instead of double hungs, or for the pressure and so it's it's fun. And then with the blower door, it's also kind of cool, and we get it running. So a lot of the nation is a 3 ACH50, right? Would be as kind of a standard adopted code. So we go to one of our windows, we open the window until the manometer says 3.
That's a cool
and we're
idea,
like, all right, this is how leaky
most builds could be.
A D minus house is, right? Code is D minus. Everything above is, like in school terms. So that really blows your mind when you open up a 5-foot window about 2.5 inches wide, and it's still hitting code. It passes. And so then that visual representation starts turning and stuff. Now, granted, they have to understand that people just don't have a window open. Well, they could, but those are holes all throughout the house combined and stuff. But then they can, then we tell them ours fit like down on a Post-it note. And so then they start feeling cool about it and stuff. So
yeah, something to be proud of.
Yeah. It's always a fun challenge for us. Like I enjoy it. And then once the kids start figuring that part out, then and whenever we tell them what the last house got, then they want to beat those people, so you always got to make it a game or a challenge.
No, it's awesome. It seems like something that a lot more schools could be involved in and be a part of, really.
I know Steve will use this example, like when he has builders say, "Oh, my guys can't do that," and he's like, "I don't know, Matt's kids do it all the time." And then trying
to think about that from a different angle.
Yeah. So, and I think that's really kind of a good thing. Like, and I kind of take pride in that and helping push things forward. Be like, hey, it's I learned that it's the kids can learn it. It's and the good thing is the students, we don't really have to break any bad habits, but at the same time, you are trying to get people to care about something who are getting paid for it and not going to live in it too, so.
I think it's great too, like the kids, then even if they don't get involved in the trades or something like that, not afraid to work on their own place and stuff like that.
We have kids go to the trades, we have kids go to the military, we have kids go to college, go to trade school, straight into the workforce, totally something different. So, but they're all gonna, hopefully, are all living in a house through the rest of their life, right? So whether they build it, own it, whatever, at least you understand things, you can start, diagnosing things in your own house. And, because we don't just cover air sealing. I know, obviously, talking with you guys, that's the biggest focus with, blower doors and stuff. But as you guys know, too, there's, thermal performance of the and the energy use and things like that go into these, what we consider a high performance house. It all matters. And, and then why does the air sealing matter when we're insulating? Like we do a double studded wall, it's super insulated. Well, if you have a leaky window or leak anywhere, then what like it's the jacket unzipped, right? Like, so it all works together.
So for any other educators that might be out there, maybe trying to do something different, whether if it's high school or beyond, what advice would you have?
A, do it. We need it. It's important, and it's not as difficult as it may seem to be starting off. Second, to make that less difficult, just reach out to, just being on Instagram, even TikTok now, YouTube. The Build Show crew, they're getting pretty popular, so they may be a little harder for them to get to respond quickly. Sure. But for me, I got in right at the right time where they were very accessible and easy to get communication with. But even with you guys, there's so many people in this industry that are just willing to give the information. Anybody that's working with Fine Home Building, JLC, Ben Bogies, Randy, all these guys, they're all willing to help. And usually if you send a message, especially as an educator saying, I'm an educator, we're looking to do this, reach out to me. That's a pretty good hook. Like me not just being like Matt Blomquist, right? At the beginning was nothing, but me as Matt Blomquist getting ready to teach high school kids how to build a house, and I want to learn how to build high performance. Well, now when I send that message to like Steve and Jake, well, that means something, right? Like I'm not just saying, oh, hey, how did you frame a wall, right? You go look that up. But hey, how that detail is interesting. I want to do this with my students. How can we learn this, or what do we need to do? Or would you just, have a quick conversation? And I think that's it. Really just ask for help. Like you guys have been in this community long enough. I mean, we go to IBS or wherever. It's just as much as good time to go see your friends and sit around and talk building science or whatever, as it is going to the actual convention or show. So this community is very willing to share. There's no shortage on YouTube and Instagram and social media to search up and find. Like, I mean, things are getting great. Obviously, what Build Show's done as far as content is at the top, right? I mean, it's all wrapped around that and stuff. So whatever. I got asked that question today. How do you learn to do this? I was talking to the Optimist Club here in town, and I was like, picked up my phone and said, just
learn by doing, like that.
Yeah, talk to it. It'll tell you whatever you want to know.
Yeah.
So, but
definitely.
People are great.
Agree. Just like this network of people in this high performance home building industry is just, we're not just people on a screen on a phone. We're real people who like to share what we know. So,
and I mean, and now, like at Retrotec and you guys are putting out videos and stuff. Like every company's putting out videos that's getting involved in this, how to use their equipment or product. And, and now as if you reach out to me, especially if you're going to be, in the teaching realm or whatever, like one of the questions is, how do you work with the students? Like I'll respond and give my best answer or whatever. And the other thing too, kind of like my, pay it forward is everyone was so generous to me. Like the first time I went down and talked to Jake Bruton when I went down to Columbia, like he's messaging people left and right. Hey, you should talk to Matt or this and that. And I'm like, so I got connected to all these big time people kind of in this, arena right away. And so that's mine. It's like somebody calls, says, I'm in whatever area. I'm like, oh, I know these builders are over there. This person's from there. I'll give me an email, I'll link you up or whatever. So it's just make the web, for Charlotte, you're talking about her web, that web bigger and get more people in it. And it helps.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff, man. Really appreciate all you're doing there. It's sounds pretty exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, and I tell you what, and without people like you guys and everybody else that's helped me, Retrotec, whenever time we buy anything from them, you guys have given us a education discount and stuff. It's one of those things. All of it helps, and I always feel bad when people kind of give me too much credit. Like I know I've done my part, but like I could not have, it definitely could not have done it this fast by no means. Yeah. Like one person, you could get there, but it's going to take a while. Where I've gotten and what we get to do and people we get to work with. It's the other 50%, if not more.
Well, thanks for spending the time with us to kind of tell the story of what you guys have been up to. It's really cool. And we'll continue to follow along.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.